Welcome student, welcome to our online classes. Hope you are doing fine at your home. Okay, today we are going to start our new chapter. It's a class 7 chapter number 2. Name of the chapter is nutrition in animals. Okay, in the very first chapter we have discussed the nutrition in plants. Now today we will discuss the nutrition in animals. Okay, so we know the term nutrition. Nutrition is a multi-step process, okay, which include your ingestion of the food, taking of the food, then digestion of the food, then absorption of that food, assimilation of that food, then ingestion of the food, and undigested food. All of these things is your nutrition. Okay, nutrition is your nourishment, how your body nourishes you. Okay, how your body gets nourished. Okay, we will discuss all this in reference to animals. In the first part we have discussed the nutrition with reference to plant. Now in this we are going to study the nutrition in animals. So let's move forward. Okay, the very first part, what are the two important modes of nutrition? The most important category, universal categories of nutrition is, first one is autotrophic, second one is heterotrophic. As the name suggests, autotrophic means the mode of nutrition in which plant and other that organism, some organism also carry out photosynthesis. So in this, auto means self, trophic means food making. Okay, so in this type of nutrition, the plant and the other photosynthetic organism, green in color, because of presence of chlorophyll, prepare their own food with help of sunlight, water and carbon dioxide. All of these that organism, living organism, including plants and animals which can prepare their own food, are known as autotrophic nutrition. They are known as autotroph and the mode is known as autotrophic nutrition. Second one is heterotrophic nutrition. Hetero means other. The organism which depend on other for their food requirements are known as heterotrophs and the mode of nutrition is heterotrophic. Okay. Now next one is we just move forward from simpler to complex organism. Very simple organism is amoeba. The diagram of amoeba is like this. It do not have any proper shape. It can change its body shape. Okay, so what it will do? Amoeba ingests the food with the help of pseudopodia. What is this pseudopodia? Whenever you hear the term pseudo in your science, in your biology, it means false. Podia means feet. False feet. It will form the false feet. It do not have proper hands or legs. It will form the false feet with the help of body. It will change. Suppose with the help of your hands you can mold the clay. You can give any shape to the clay. Same way, amoeba can mold its body to various shape. Okay, so it will form its body into hand-like shape, and then hand-like shape is known as pseudopodia. False feet. Okay. It inguls the food by forming vacuole. What will it do? It will form a hand-like shape. Then it will, suppose food is somewhere like this. Then it will ingulf the food. It will take the food inside it, form the vacuole, okay, and digest the food with the help of digestive enzymes. It has digestive enzyme inside its body, so it will just take up the food, engulf the food, and with the help of digestive enzymes, it will digest the food. Okay. Energy is obtained from the absorbed food that help in the growth. Okay, the energy which is obtained from the food will help the amoeba for the growth. Undigested food is egested out of the body, okay, by rupturing the cell wall. This is the simplest nutrition in any organism, in amoeba. Okay. Next one is type of nutrition in other animal. Different type of nutrition is there in different type of animals. First one is filter feeding. What is this filter feeding? It is obtaining nutrients from particle substandard in the water. Getting the nutrients from the water itself. Okay. Commonly used by fish. Fish will get the nutrient from the food particles suspended in the water. So it is known as filter feeding. Second one is deposit feeding. What is this deposit feeding? Deposit feeding is obtaining nutrients from the particles of the food suspended in the soil. In case of filter feeding, it's water. In case of deposit feeding, it is soil. Okay. Earthworm use this method of ingestion. Ingestion is taking up of your food. Okay. Next one is fluid feeding. As the name suggests, the food is obtained by the consuming organism fluid. By consuming other organism fluid. Okay, liquid part. Honeybee, mosquito, all of this exhibit this kind of food intake. What honeybee will do? It will suck the nectar of the plant. Sucking. So this will include the sucking of the liquid from one organism. Okay? The taking up of the food by sucking. Bulk feeding, obtaining nutrient by eating whole of the organism. By eating whole organism altogether. This is known as bulk feeding. For example, python, the snake, it will eat up all the entire organism in one go. That is bulk feeding. Then your ram feeding or suction feeding. What is this? Ingesting prey by the surrounding fluid. Taking up the prey with the help of surrounding fluid. This mode of ingestion is exhibited by aquatic predators such as bony fish. Okay, these are few type of ingestion. Ingestion is taking up of food inside your body. This is the first part of your nutrition. Okay. Now, process of the nutrition, as I have told you, it is multi-step process. First one is ingestion, taking of the food, digestion. In this process, large food particle will break down into smaller particles. So this is digestion. Okay. The digestion can be done by physical or chemical processes. Okay. Next is absorption. The digested food is absorbed in the bloodstream. The important part of the food which are required for our body get absorbed. Then assimilation. The absorbed food is used for energy. Using of the important component of the food for our body is assimilation. Using of important component of food for our body, for example, using protein for growth, using carbohydrate for energy. All this is assimilation, using up of important nutrient. Then still some part of undigested food is always there, which is not required by your body. It need to be we need to be get rid of that food, undigested food. The process required for such is egestion, removing of undigested food. Okay, in the form of feces. Okay. This process is known as egestion, and we will study about all these processes in detail in this chapter. Okay. Now, type of nutrition. Very first is holozoic nutrition. Holozoic nutrition is the nutrition in us human being. We show the type of nutrition which is known as holozoic nutrition. Okay. It is a process by which animals take the food involve different steps, namely ingestion, then digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. The 5 sequence process is that collectively known as holozoic nutrition, which is shown by us humans. Okay, human beings exhibit holozoic mode of nutrition involve 5 steps, which we have discussed. Okay, we have discussed all this process, what will happen in each step. Okay. Now, this is the typical mouth part or the ingestion part of our digestive system. Okay. So, the very first is ingestion. We take the food through the mouth. By the process taking food into body is known as ingestion. Taking of the food is ingestion. Mouth or the buccal cavity contains teeth, tongue, salivary glands. Okay. So, digestion begins in the mouth itself. Okay. First of all, you take the food in, then you chew your food. What you are doing? You are breaking your food into small that part, and breaking down of the food, larger food particle into smaller is nothing but digestion. So, in the simple terms, digestion start in your mouth itself. Okay. We chew the food with the help of our teeth. Okay. The teeth cut the food into smaller pieces. We chew and then we grind it. This is the typical mouth. This is the teeth. This is the tongue. This is a salivary gland present here. Okay, salivary gland, what it will do? It will produce the saliva. Okay, which help in form that food item into liquid form, and in the liquid form it is easily digested. The food is that easy to digest when it is in liquid form. That's why saliva is produced by the salivary glands. This is sublingual gland. Okay, so all of these things act together to make your food that large food particle into smaller one, then make your food I can say that liquidy. Okay, next is chewing. Why do we chew our food? So chewing breaks down the food into smaller pieces and mix them with saliva. This process is known as mastication. Mastication is breaking down of your food into smaller particle, okay, and mix it with the saliva. Mastication. Okay, the salivary gland secrete watery liquid known as saliva. Saliva is a digestive juice that helps the partially digestive starch present in the food. Okay, the tongue help in mixing of the saliva. Okay, what is the function of tongue during your eating? It will help mixing of saliva with your food. Okay, the tongue is a muscular organ that helps you to eat the food. It mixes the saliva with the food during the chewing and help in swallowing. Okay, swallowing of your food. Middle. We also taste food with tongue only. This is not the only function. The mixing of the food is not the only function of the tongue. It also gives us the sense of taste. How? We will discuss about it in later. Firstly, let's discuss teeth part. So, teeth are used for cutting, grinding, tearing food before you swallow it. We know all these things. Okay, we are aware of teeth. You have different type of teeth to do that job. Okay, so in the very early stage of your life you will have milk teeth. Okay, the child has only 20 teeth, 10 in each jaw, upper jaw and lower jaw. They are known as milk teeth. They begin to fall at the age between 6 to 8. Okay, then the new set of teeth grow. Those set of teeth is known as permanent teeth. This set contains 32 teeth, 16 in each jaw. There are 4 incisors, okay, then 2 canines, then 4 premolars and 6 molars, and we will discuss the role of each of the following. Okay, so the incisors are the frontmost teeth. Okay, they are used for biting and cutting. They are biting and cutting teeth. Secondly, canine. Next to incisor, canine are there. This is the typical diagram of a canine. They are pointed. They are used for piercing, padna, and tearing the food into pieces. Cutting and biting, tearing and piercing of the food. Okay. So next is premolar. Premolar are 4 in number. Okay. Last premolar with the flat surface behind the canine in each jaw for grinding and chewing. Grinding and chewing by premolar. Then your molar. Molar in the adult are 6 in number, 3 in each jaw. Large molar with a flat surface behind the premolar in each jaw for grinding. One more difference is also there. Can you see 2 that part, leg part, and 3 leg part in molar. Okay. So they are used for grinding purpose. They are used for chewing and grinding. Main function is chewing. Main function is grinding. Okay. They have 3 crown. More grinding is that facilitated in this. 2 crown. Though they can chew efficiently, but grinding is more efficiently in case of molar. Now, one more thing associated with teeth. We cannot go further without discussing sweet or tooth decay. Tooth decay. So, tooth is covered with a white hard outer covering of tooth called enamel. Outermost covering of the tooth is known as enamel. Okay, below which dentine is present. When this layer of that enamel wear off, there will be one more layer, that is dentine. Okay. similar to bone which protect the pulp cavity, okay, which is having nerves and blood vessels. Bacteria are also present in our mouth, right? But they cannot be harmful for us. They are not harmful for us. However, if you do not clean your teeth and mouth after eating, the bacteria will become harmful to you. How? These bacteria break down the sugar, the leftover food particles in your mouth. They will break down that, okay, from the leftover food and release the acid. Then they will convert them into acid, okay. This acid will damage your teeth, and the process is known as tooth decay, okay. Therefore, tooth decay is defined as process of rotting of the tooth and formation of cavity or the holes in your tooth, okay, which lead to toothache, okay. When a hole or a cavity reaches the pulp cavity, which is having nerves, it causes pain, and these cavities are not treated. If they are not treated on time, they can cause severe toothache, and it may result in tooth loss forever. These are permanent tooth. Okay. So what will happen? It will start formation. The tooth decay will start formation on uppermost layer, but if it will carry on, it can reach pulp cavity and your nerves also. That's why we feel that sensitive thing. Whenever you eat anything, you are having cavity, you will feel pain, because that uppermost layer that is protecting your innermost cavities, innermost pulp cavity, is now weared off. It's now gone because of the tooth decay, right? So this is the proper diagram which is presenting your decaying of the human tooth. What will happen? This is uppermost enamel layer, then dentine layer. This is the pulp cavity. This is the gum. What will happen? Initially, your enamel and dentine layer will start falling apart, or pore formation will start occurring at this place by the action of bacteria on leftover food by formation of acids. Okay. Then it will reach your pulp cavity. Okay, and when it will reach your pulp cavity, it will start paining. Okay, now next important organ of your digestive system is tongue. This is a muscular organ that is attached to the back of the floor of your buccal cavity. This is buccal cavity. It is attached to the floor of the buccal cavity, the uppermost part. Okay, it is free from one end and can help in making saliva with the help of salivary glands. Okay, it helps in swallow of your food. Okay, food will not swallow down without tongue. Talking, speaking, tasting with the help of taste buds. Taste buds are present on your tongue only for sweet, salt, sour, and bitter food. Salivary glands secrete saliva which break down the starch into sugar. First part of digestion is conversion of starch into sugar. Complex is starch, sugar is that much simpler version. In digestion, complex will convert it into simple, large food item into smaller. Breakdown of starch will give you sugar. Okay, so this started in your mouth only. Formation by the help of amylase. Amylase is the enzyme. All the digestion requires certain enzymes. The very first enzyme present in your mouth is amylase, which convert starch into sugar. Okay. This is your tongue, typical. This is the place where your bitter sweet that taste bud is present. This part is sour taste bud. This is salty taste bud and sweet taste bud. Okay. Now, food pipe of esophagus present here. Okay. Now, food pipe or esophagus. It can spell without O also. Nowadays, we are not using O, but both spellings are correct. Okay. It is a tube-like structure which connect mouth to the stomach. Tube-like structure which connect mouth and your stomach. Okay. And run along neck and your chest. From here to your chest. Okay. It carries slightly digested food which is digested in your mouth, okay? From mouth to the stomach. It's basically a carrier. It transfers your food from mouth to your stomach, okay? Tube-like structure. Food is pushed downward by wave-like movement in the wall of the food pipe. there are certain wave-like wave-like movement in your esophagus or your food pipe. This is typical food pipe. Okay, this is your food which is transferred through your mouth to your stomach by the food pipe. Okay, so this wave-like movement which are started in your food pipe are known as peristalsis. Peristalsis. What happened in this type of movement? The alternative contraction and relaxation of food pipe is there. For a moment, it will I can say that contract. Then it will relax. What will happen? Food will reach here. Next part is in contracted position. So food will not flow down immediately. What will happen? Firstly, it is in a relaxed position. Food will flow down. Then it will contract. Food will squeeze down. Okay. Then again contract. Again squeezing. Okay. That's how food will flow from your mouth to your stomach. This is the typical movement. Okay. The chewed food that entered to esophagus from mouth is passed down to the stomach is called bolus. That part of food is known as bolus. Okay. Sometimes food is not accepted by our stomach, is vomited out. The vomited out food is bolus. Okay. Because the food moves the opposite direction. Sometimes the process is in opposite direction from stomach to mouth. That is known as anti-peristalsis. Okay, movement from your esophagus out and food out of your mouth through the vomiting. Okay, that process is esophagus. Sorry, that process is anti-peristalsis. Okay, from esophagus again to your mouth. Now next part is stomach. Now this is most familiar part of your food system, digestive system. This is stomach. Okay, so stomach is the thick wall bag-like structure present in the left side of your abdomen. Okay, left side. Now it is the widest part of the alimentary canal. Esophagus brings the slightest digestive food from your mouth to your stomach. The stomach wall contains three tubular glands in its wall that secrete the gastric juices. Okay, three glands are attached to the stomach which will form the digestive juices. The gastric juice contains three substances: hydrochloric acid, enzymes, pepsin and mucus. Hydrochloric acid, enzymes, pepsin and mucus. All of these things are required for digestion. Okay, hydrochloric acid creates acidic medium in your stomach which help in digestion. Okay, which facilitate the action of enzyme. Enzyme need acidic medium to act out anything. For example, pepsin cannot work in alkaline medium. Okay, so to activate the enzymes are the protein which help in digestion, which help to carry out the reactions. Okay, very first enzyme is pepsin, which help in breakdown of your protein into smaller subunits. The digestion of carbohydrates start in your mouth from starch to sugar by the help of enzyme known as amylase. It do not require acidic medium. Okay, but this pepsin, that's why digestion of protein start in your stomach only. It will not start in your mouth because this pepsin will activate in your stomach only because of the acidic medium of your stomach, that is digestion of the protein to simpler substances. Okay, the acid kills many bacteria also. The acid of the stomach kills many bacteria that enter along with the food. The mucus helps to protect the stomach wall from its own secretion of hydrochloric acid. Why? Your stomach will not burn from such acidic acid. This acid is very harmful though, but your stomach is protected by the help of mucus. It's a sticky secretion which helps your stomach, which protect your stomach from hydrochloric acid. The partially digested food then goes from stomach into your small intestine. Okay. Here also the digestion part is still not completed. The proper digestion part is completed in later on process. Okay. Till now the digestion of that sugar, I can say that carbohydrate is started and digestion of your proteins has started, but yet your fats are yet not digested. Okay, in stomach. Now small intestine. Small intestine is highly coiled and it is about 7.5 meters long. Okay, After leaving stomach, food enters small intestine. Last step of digestion take place in intestine. What is the last step? Digestion of your fats. Okay, this is the last step of digestion. It receives secretion from liver and pancreas also. These are the two glands associated with your stomach. And the whole of intestine will receive these juices from liver and pancreas, which help in further digestion. The secretion of liver will help in digestion of your fat, and secretion of pancreas will help in digestion of carbohydrate and protein. Okay, this is a typical the small intestine. Okay, the inner part is small intestine, outer part is large intestine. Okay, it is highly coiled structure. Okay, we will discuss in our next slide. This is liver, this is pancreas. Okay, liver is the largest gland in your body also. Okay, this is GK question. Liver, the largest gland in your body, is situated in the upper half of your abdomen at the right side. It is situated at the right side. It secretes bile juice, which is stored in gallbladder. It will form the juice, and juice is stored in gallbladder, and it will wait till the food arrives. And when the food arrives, the bile will secrete the liver juice, and it will help in digestion. Okay. Pancreas. These are the pancreas. Large cream-colored gland located just below your liver or the stomach. The pancreatic juice act on carbohydrate, fat, and protein. All of this. Okay. And they help in conversion of still larger component into smaller one. The partially digested food now reaches lower part of the small intestine. Okay, small intestine contains gland which secrete intestinal juice. Juice of your stomach is known as gastric juice. Now, juice of your intestine known as intestinal juice. The enzyme present in finally converting protein into amino acid, complex carbohydrate, and glucose fat into fatty acid. Again, what will happen after digestion? Carbohydrate get converted into glucose, fats converted into fatty acid and glycerol, and protein converted into amino acid. All these things are the smaller version of this large component. Carbohydrate, amino acid. Okay, sorry. Protein, amino acid, carbohydrate, glucose, and a fat into fatty acid and glycerol. This is digestion. This is what happening in the digestion. Okay. Now absorption. Digestion is completed. So now we are moving forward to the absorption. The absorption starts in small intestine only. The small intestine is the main region for the absorption of digested food. The inner surface of the small intestine has a numerous finger-like projection which help in absorption. Okay, which is known as villi, which increases the surface area. Suppose something is like this, and if I fold the surface, what will happen? Large surface area in a smaller region. That's why the surface of the small intestines are converted into finger-like projection. Okay, those finger-like projection is villi, which help in increasing of the surface area so that more space will be there for digestion, for absorption and digestion. Okay. Digested food which is absorbed through the walls of the small intestine goes into our blood. So what is absorption? Absorption is absorbing important component of the digestive food from small intestine to our blood. Giving important component from our small intestine to the blood. Okay? This is nothing but absorption. Next is assimilation. What is this assimilation? The blood carries these useful substances to each and every part of your body. The body uses the substances for growth. Now, use of this important component is known as assimilation. Okay, body use all this component for various purposes. Absorption of digested food and utilization by body is known as assimilation. For example, glucose, the final product of your carbohydrate digestion, is broken down with the help of oxygen and carbohydrate, and it will release energy. Glucose will give us energy. Carbohydrate converted into glucose, and this glucose will give us energy. Amino acids are used for growth and repair of our body parts. Amino acids are the smaller version of protein. Next is fatty acid and glycerol, stored below the skin as the energy reserve. All these things are now used up by our body for various purposes. This is assimilation. Okay. So this was the part 1 of our chapter nutrition in animal. In part 2 we will discuss few other topics. Okay. Thank you.